Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to start this video by giving Brad Combs from Digital Perspectives some credit. Give him a subscribe if you don't already. He does quite well, but this is about this flare, the spark drop, and all that, all the drama that's been going on with all of that. And he makes a very good point in this clip, so I was going to play this for you. Here we go.
A clip I wanted to bring out because we know over the weekend that Hugo had to cancel the option voting for us, and the option 2 for Flare was for a lower supply to be released, right? And then this came about where this is Mickey B. Fresh talking about that Flare network design before. Take the time and effort to research the Flare network design before making assumptions that lower supply is better. Well, I just want to simply say this, you know what I mean? That no one's making an assumption. This was an option that was offered by the creator of the network. If it is a failed option, then that's on Hugo and the Flare team. Don't offer me something that you take back, right? That was never, apparently, according to Mickey, never a solution to begin with. What the hell what is that? Right? So this isn't about us wanting to make assumptions. The only assumption I'm making is that Hugo and Flare Networks teams knows what the hell they're doing. And by me receiving the token, because I hold XRP, that I can benefit if I understand the full tax implication on what's going to be in my portfolio. It's pretty simple. Am I wrong to make the assumption that Hugo actually knows what the hell he's doing? Is that what we're to assume, right? Don't put forth options that don't work. And if I have to start making the assumption that what you're putting forward doesn't work, what the hell am I about to receive anyway?
I think that's a pretty that's a pretty common sense basic analysis of the whole situation. But enough on Flare. But I thought that was a pretty good analysis there by Brad. Okay, CoinDesk, the agriculture. So the markets have been tanking over the weekend and everything. And I'm going to make a pretty important point here. The Agricultural Bank of China reiterated its ban on crypto, then pulled the statement from its website. Then there's this. China says banks must block crypto transactions, markets fall. And then there's this. Cryptocurrency prices fall as a now deleted crypto ban announcement by the Agricultural Bank of China puts the focus back on regulatory hurdles. I wanted to make a point with everybody and make sure you pay attention here. I've been in this since around 2013. I have seen I've seen this happen by China no less than at least 7 to 10 times. This was from 2013. This is an article right here. A similar China ban announcement. I've seen this movie many times, backing my crypto dump truck up and loading up today. That's true. China bans banks from handling Bitcoin trade. This was from December 5th, 2013. China has banned its banks from handling transactions involving Bitcoin virtual currency. Now, every single time this has happened, the same thing happens, folks. The market implodes. It was a bubble. Look, they even said it here. The decision comes after Bitcoin's rapid rise in value was called a bubble by Alan Greenspan, former U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman. I remember all of this happening. This happens every once in a while. Now, remember, it also happened in 2017. I showed you this article yesterday. Trump administration popped the 2007 Bitcoin bubble. And how did they do it? Chris Giancarlo admitted it. They did it by initiating the futures. The CBOE futures, right here. They were the Bitcoin futures listed by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange were announced by CFTC on December 1st, 2017. That is when the market, right in here is when the market began to tank back in 2017. And by pure coincidence, we saw this a few days ago. Galaxy Digital will serve as liquidity provider on Bitcoin futures for Goldman as the securities firm re-enters the cryptocurrency markets. This is all a coincidence right here. You know that, right? That the markets are tanking and Goldman's getting involved in the Bitcoin futures. That's just a coincidence. Now, and then they're doing their duty. Squawk Box comes in and touts the China news.
Bitcoin, Ether, and other popular cryptocurrencies, they are in the red this morning. Traders focused on a growing crackdown that's happening in China. Eunice Yoon joins us this morning with the latest from Beijing. Eunice.
Thanks, Andrew. So Alibaba's Alipay and several Chinese banks are right now reminding their customers to stay away from virtual currency trading. Alipay has been warning its merchants as well as customers that they risk having their accounts restricted. China Construction and the Agricultural Bank of China say that their customers can have their accounts suspended, financial services terminated immediately, or potentially be reported to the authorities. Now, this notice comes after the People's Bank of China summoned several financial institutions to discuss what they said are the dangers of trading in cryptocurrencies. Now, the policies themselves are not new, but we have more detailed instruction. So here are some of the key points. One is that institutions should now try to identify which accounts are active in crypto trading. And then number two, block those transactions. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of nervousness here in trade. And also, over the weekend, officials clamped down on crypto mining projects in one of the biggest Bitcoin mining areas in the country, in Sichuan province. There's one city in particular that said that they are hoping to end all of these mining projects in Bitcoin and in Ether in the next year or so. And then the Communist Party paper, The Global Times, said that this clampdown would mean that 90% of the country's Bitcoin mining capacity would be shut down. So where is that business going? We've talked about this before on the network, that some of it could be going to the US or elsewhere. We spoke to a logistics company in Guangzhou that has been kind of promoting the business that it's getting. And they said that they just shipped 3,000 kilograms, kg of, or 6,600 pounds of Bitcoin mining machines to the state of Maryland. So somebody in the United States is picking up some of that business.
Okay, and then you have Jim Cramer, who has completely been activated. This guy's bringing up Tether too, and all of a sudden he started talking about Tether a few weeks ago, like almost as if somebody's whispering in his ear.
We're about to squawk. Want to get down to the New York Stock Exchange to see our good friend Jim Cramer. It's nice to see you, my friend. We got to talk Bitcoin. We got to talk Bitcoin because
we have to.
I want to get your sense of what you think's happening here on China. I see you tweeting about Tether. I know you've got lots of questions. What's on your mind?
I want to know how Tether's financing itself. You know, they claim they're using a lot of commercial paper. They're using Chinese commercial paper. They haven't been as forthcoming as I'd like. They should tell us a little more because they obviously are integral here. But you know something. Eunice is so good, and she talks about the idea that the PRC doesn't like people doing things that they're not supposed to do. That's a nice way of saying they're going to come down on your head and it's just going to go away. And I think everybody has to recognize that the biggest players in this market are the Chinese. The Americans tend to play in, they're doing anything to get it rolling, but the guys who really dominate are China. And I think the PRC's had enough of this. I don't think that the PRC's coming down on anybody who's capitalist who they don't control.
I think they're shorting it.
Recognize that President Xi is not like anybody else for a long time, since Mao. And I don't think he's a big Bitcoin fan. It's one minute.
So Jim, though, but then the question becomes, what is the fair, proper valuation for Bitcoin under the assumption, if you want to make it, that the Chinese get out of the Bitcoin business?
Well, I don't know. I mean, look, this is a crucial level. Tom DeMark did a piece about his stuff. He's been unbelievable. Saying, look, basically this has got to hold 30,000. if the Chinese flee the market, I don't know how that can happen because they're so dominant. I mean, they're stopping cities that have good hydropower. I mean, from mining Bitcoin. I mean, guys, I don't think we really know what the Chinese are doing, but it isn't good.
Okay, so, and then there was this from, I did my video yesterday right after this thing, right after I saw this. Breaking exclusive. Did opportunists in the U.S. cede to China cryptocurrency like others did biowarfare technology? This thing, look, folks, this is the Gateway Pundit. This, what we've all in social media been talking about Jay Clayton and William Hinman and showing people the different things they said and how none of this adds up. What we've been talking about on our channels and people have been talking about on Twitter is starting to get to the mainstream now, and I can prove it. This whole article is about showing Jay Clayton and the different things we've been talking about who he worked for and where, who his clients were and all this stuff. And now he sued Ripple, 11th hour lawsuit against Ripple, and then he resigned. I mean, they reference the Seeking Alpha article that I showed the other day. And then they even have one of my tweets from the other day where I showed you this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll show you the gist of it. And I had copied all these. My point is that if you think that people like all of us out here in social media that are bringing attention to the facts of this thing, if you think that people aren't watching and that this can't be something that goes somewhere and is looked at, I mean, these people, this needs to be looked at. Nobody wants to live in a world where things don't add up like this and people can do things that don't make any sense whatsoever and they don't even have to answer a question about it. That's all we've ever really wanted is where is CNBC sticking a microphone in Jay Clayton's face and asking him some of the things that are in this freaking article? What, don't you think you have some mega, at best, the conflicts of interest in this article will make you sick at best. I won't even go into at worst, okay? But look at this.
Well,
this guy was laying this down before Jay Clayton ever, I think around the time he went into office as SEC chairman.
Wall Street Insider from one of the white shoe firms, Jay Clayton, one of the largest defense firms, Sullivan Cromwell on the street, that has done work on behalf of broker-dealers for decades. So essentially, when a Wall Street firm gets in trouble, whether it's with one of the regulators or they get sued by the plaintiff's bar, these types of the firms that Jay Clayton comes from, defends Wall Street. Now, you and I have talked about this before, and the biggest problem we have with this, let's grab someone from a Wall Street defense firm like Jay Clayton and put them in charge of the regulatory function like the SEC. It's called the revolving door, where these very highly qualified lawyers come from Wall Street and they go to the regulators. So they go from defending the Wall Street firms to overseeing and regulating. So they're sitting on one side of the table as a defense lawyer, and then quite frankly, within a week or two, they're now sitting in the regulator chair, regulating their old clients, their old friends.
You see the problem here? And this is a huge problem. And then, not only that, then they go and get in the crypto business and just happen to be really big into Ethereum and Bitcoin. They got the free passes, regulatory free passes. Then John Deaton showed this. XRP holders, word is getting out more and more about the bogus claims against XRP. Great article. The basic premise of the lawsuit on its face is a stretch that challenges logic. See, this stuff's hitting the mainstream media. This is thehill.com, and this is that article. I'm not going to go into that one because I wanted to show you this. XRP Crypto Wolf, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce says XRP might not be a security. Listen to this.
Now, the SEC filed a lawsuit in December against Ripple Labs, creator of the XRP token. And the claim is that XRP is an unregistered security. Why did this happen now?
Well, I can't speak to any litigation that's ongoing, but I can say that we have been bringing enforcement actions now in this space since 2017. I anticipate that as long as there's activity in this space, there will be enforcement in this space. But that said, I've been very clear about the fact that I think we need to provide regulatory clarity before we spend too much more time on enforcement where there's not fraud involved.
So that leads to the...
By the way, what she just said is there was no fraud accusations in the Ripple lawsuit, so she literally just came out and said, and she's telling you can. It's very obvious she doesn't believe this lawsuit should even be there.
Question: XRP has been on the market for 8 years. When does a digital asset become a security, or maybe something else? And how does the SEC determine that?
Well, I think that is a difficult question, and it's something that I've also, again, tried to get us to be a little bit more precise. When we think about a crypto asset, a digital asset as being a security, what we're doing is we're saying that we think it's being sold as part of an investment contract, which means that there are promises being made around the sale of that asset. It doesn't mean that the asset itself necessarily has to be a security. It means that it was being sold as a security. Then the question becomes, at what point can someone sell that asset not as a security? And that is a very difficult line.
When it comes to Elon Musk in particular.
Well, see, here's my problem with what she's saying there. My problem is this. Okay, so you guys, you're saying XRP itself is not a security. It just depends on the circumstances. Well, why don't you guys get off your butts and let the exchanges know whether the trading of XRP on their platforms is a security or not, so that everybody can get back to business. The reason you won't do this is because this is about money. See, I have a problem with all this hemming and hawing. Oh, yeah, well, she says this, and you know, she seems to be one of the good guys and all this stuff. Well, if you're a good guy, then come out and tell these freaking exchanges that they can go ahead and get back to business. Is XRP a security on the exchanges, or are y'all more interested in holding Ripple over a barrel to get to that escrow or whatever the money is that the SEC is after? Which is it? At what point are these people, at what point does somebody put a microphone in their face and ask them that question? That's the question for Hester Pierce. Why don't you guys put something out and let these exchanges know whether XRP is a security right now with what they're doing, the people buying and selling XRP? Because if you would do that, it would fix things in the markets anyway. But they won't do it. And that is why I've said 1,000 times, this thing is one or two things. It's not about protecting investors, which is supposed to be their number one job. It's either a political witch hunt or all the world's a stage. It's not the one in the middle. It's one of those two. And this is what's making the SEC look so awful right now. If it was about protecting investors, they could put out a tweet today. Here's how we view XRP that's being traded in the markets on all these platforms, but they won't do it. They won't do it. And the reason they won't do it is because it sure feels like they're politically holding somebody over a barrel here. That's why they won't do it. Okay, this is a Forbes article. Recent IRS memorandum reaffirms that Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin exchanges are not like-kind exchanges. The IRS very rarely puts out any memos, but they did put out a memo on this. Tax law prior to January 1st, 2018 allowed you to defer capital gains taxes when you exchanged one property with another similar to property, also known as a like-kind exchange. Relying on this tax law and the murky crypto tax guidance that existed before 2018, some cryptocurrency holders applied like-kind exchange treatment to crypto trades, paid no taxes on gains. A new IRS memorandum released today reaffirms that transactions between Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin are not eligible for like-kind exchange treatment. So a little bit of tax clarity there. But guess what? If you have an iTrustCapital IRA all of a sudden the tax problems are not quite as severe, because you can have an IRA, depending on the kind of IRA you have, you can have either tax deferred gains or tax free, like my Roth IRA. This is one of my sponsors, and I am a customer 2 times over with them. Go in the description of any of my videos. I have a 1 month off free with iTrustCapital. They are at iTrustCapital.com. If you moved from a job or you got laid off, you can roll a 401k into an iTrustCapital IRA too. Pretty cool. You can buy crypto. Look at all the crypto that they've got now. Let's see, offerings. They got precious metals too. But here's the cryptocurrencies that you can get on their platform now. Awesome platform. I love it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family to check out iTrust.